the other way to make a head is to do 2 pinch pots. So they're going to be small pinch pots. And the way to do that is to start with a sphere. Don't spend too much time trying to make a perfect sphere in your hand, because probably more times than I can count I see students doing this to try to make a sphere and just rolling it around in their hands. And they dry out the outside of this little sphere, and then the outside starts to crack, and the inside is soft, and it's like really almost impossible to work with after that. So this is lumpy and not a perfect sphere. That's okay. If there's like a huge dent, you can kind of smooth it out. But to make a pinch pot, you start with a sphere of clay, you stick your thumb in, and then you just gently squeeze around, and you're using the curve of your fingers as almost a mold, and you're pressing the clay into that mold. You're not actually like pinching it, because if you did this, it would be too skinny. So you're just kind of squeezing with your thumb, pressing into the mold that is the curve of your fingers. So I'd have one pinch pot like this, and then I would make a second one. I took a little less time trying to make sure this was a sphere before I started. Pressing into the mold of the roundness of my fingers. And it needs to be uniform width. And then you would slip and score these together and make a hollow sphere. So if I were to smooth those two edges together, what did I just make? What? An oval, but what is the problematic thing that I made? I made an air bubble, yeah. So then, if this was the head that I wanted to keep, which it's not, but for the sake of this, we'll pretend it is. It's much too large to be my giraffe's head, but I'm just going to use it for this. So I have this air bubble. It's hollow, which it should be, because this would be way too thick on its own. So there's a couple things you could do to solve the problem. You could stab a hole in it where it's going to attach to the project, and then because this air bubble is down, or this opening is down here, you have airflow throughout the whole thing. So again, I could stab a hole and line that hole up with this one, so that all of that air can go out the bottom. Or you could give your creature nostrils that actually go through, or cut an open mouth for it. So making like a lizard head of some kind. A dinosaur. And maybe I'll press... Oh, it's like Kermit the Frog by accident. A little bit. Okay. So then you can cut an opening for a mouth, and then I could slip and score it on. Alright, so I don't think I want my giraffe to have an open mouth, so I would do the other thing. So I'm going to close this back up, I'm going to slip and score it. So then I would do this way, where I stab the hole. Make sure it goes all the way through. And then I would slip and score it onto the top of my neck. It would help if I had an even neck to put it on, huh? My neck was not all the same height. And you kind of just twist and press a little bit, and then again, you'd smooth out your seam. And then I would need to take some time to perfect, oh, that's not focused. I would then need to take some time to perfect the head shape. So I would definitely want it longer in the snout area. So I can kind of squeeze and move it a little bit. So those are 2 ways you can add a head to your project. Once you're done adding the head, then you can go in and add all of your textures and add legs and stuff on. Most of your legs will be thin enough that you can just roll coils and then kind of tweak the coil thicknesses in areas and slip and score those onto the side.